So welcome to today's video. We'll be looking at how we can create a voting application using Bubble. Now, we'll do this in two different ways. First of all, we'll be using two icons and then we'll be using one icon to see how we can do this using Bubble. I already set up the screen that I'll be using, and interestingly, we'll be doing a vote for Ghana Jollof and Nigerian Jollof. Now, this is an ongoing battle. All right, so this is actually a continuation from our previous video on authentication. So if you are seeing this screen for the first time, that means you've not watched my authentication video. You might want to check it out if you want to learn one or two things about authentication, where we covered every detail about Bubble authentication, ranging from the email signing to how you can get a magic link to using social network and all that. So we will be the first thing we'll be doing is to set up the database, and then we'll update the repeating group, which we used an arbitrary text to set up here in the pool. And then after that, we'll set up the voting function using the two icon. Then we'll update it by keeping track of the users that voted. And finally, we'll be looking at how we can use one icon instead of two icons to achieve the same purpose. Okay, so we're done with the introduction. Let's jump right in. I'm going to set up the database. And so we'll go into our Bubble editor, come down to data here. And then all we want to do is we want to do jollof. And then let's create that. So we want this to have a name. So a name, and the field is going to be a field of text. Then we want it to have an image. The field is also going to be a type of text. If it had like a URL, we'll have used a URL, but we'll do a text. So we'll just use the same text that we've used, and we'll lay it down. It turns it to a URL. We'll also need the votes. Okay, so we'll have upvotes. So we'll do upvotes like that, and this will be a type of number. Then we'll have downvotes, which will also be a type of number. All right. We would also have users who did upvote and users for downvote. So we'll have something like upvote users, and this will be type user rather, and it's going to be multiple entries. So we'll just check the field is going to be a list. So create that. Then we have the downvote users. Same thing, it's going to be a list, create it. Now we could just change, instead of say downvote users, could just do downvoters, something like that. I think it makes a lot of sense that way. Downvoters, upvoters, and it's going to be a list of users still. Then we could choose to also add, say, number of upvotes, number of downvotes, something like that. So upvotes total, make it a number. Okay, I think so. Have upvote number, downvote number. Okay, I think this keeps track of so just to make it very clear, let's add total to the upvotes total. So stuff like that. So that should be enough for our use case. So let's head back to our editor here, and let's move into our pool page. All right, and then want to make sure that anyone coming here is already signed up. So you could just go to the workflow here and use a page is loaded, and then you can do something like current user is logged out. So if current user is logged out, we want to send that user back to the index page like that. All right, so let's do a refresh here, and it takes us back to the index page because we are actually logged out. So let's try again. All right, so that seems to be working. So let me get an email I've used. So I think I've used many of this email. So let me try this login. So this probably didn't work. Let's try this. Still didn't work. Not sure why. So let's try this again. All right, so maybe I should just register these emails. So let's try again. This one. So let me take it. So I've created a few accounts so that we can use for this purpose. So let's try it again this time around. So this should work. So we have this showing up here, and it's supposed to redirect to the pool. So however, when we check out the pool, we now have access to it. Okay. And checking out just to confirm. So okay. Okay, so I think I need to copy this and get this off from here just to make sure our redirect works properly. So let's give it another shot, do a refresh, and let's log out. All right, so let's try again. So like this, and we're redirected to the pool. Okay, great. So we have everything working just as it should be. We want to just make sure that anyone that comes here is someone that's logged in. So let's now move to the pool page, and then let's fetch data from the database from here. So what we want to do is let's come to the last group here, which is the group C. Inside here we'll have the repeating group, and so instead of just having a text, we'll use the jollof data type that we just created, and here we'll do a search for jollof, and we can just do sort by created dates, and we'll say let it be descending, so that just works fine for us. Then coming down here, we're gonna have jollof instead. Also here, same thing, jollof, like that. So inside of here, what we want is the name. So we just pick the name like that. And here we want the image. So just take the image like that. Basically, that is it. Then here, for this number here, we want, let's make sure we are passing down the parent. I'm not sure. So let's move this away here and come up here. Change this to jollof, parents jollof, like that. So the same thing here. Let's do it here. So we're supposed to have a text of jollof like that. Okay, great. Now for the text, parent jollof. So for here we need the total number of downvotes, sorry, of upvotes. So we do upvote total like that. And so we'll do the same thing in this other side. We want to get the jollof, parent groups jollof, and then here we want to also do parent group jollof downvotes total. All right, great. So now that we have this set up, our page should be more or less blank. So it's blank. So because we don't have anything in our database, is going to be blank. So let's go back here and work on that. So let's have a new entry, and I already got rid of that jollof that we used, so we'll just go get another jollof. All right, so the name here is Nigerian jollof. And all we need to add is the image. Other things will fill dynamically. So we'll do Nigerian jollof like that, and can just pick anyone as we please. So which one looks really interesting? They all look yummy. All right, so I'll just pick this one like that and copy the image address, come back here, and in the image just paste it. Hopefully that image wouldn't be a problem. Let's do a Ghana one like that, and then come to image. Which one looks yummy? No, this is a YouTube video, so this is great. Copy image address, so come back here and let's add another entry. So here, Ghana jollof, let's paste it. All right, so let's come back here, and we have everything set up just as we uploaded it, right? So we have everything coming up from the database, but for now our votes are not working. So they're not working because of course we've not set up the functionality. So how do we make them work? So what we want is when you click on the top vote, upvote here, it should increase the upvote total in the database, and when you click on the downvote, it should decrease it. So that's just it. So let's go back and make sure I close this off. Let's go back here in the pool page, and want to add the workflow for when you click on the top vote or the upvote. Yeah. So what we want is make changes to thin, and here what we want to make changes to is the parent jollof. So what do we want to make changes to here? We want to change the upvotes. So upvotes total. So what we want is the parent jollof upvotes total +1, like that. So each time you click on it, it should increase by 1, like that. So we'll do the same thing for the downvote. So come back here, click on this, add workflow, and same thing, make changes to thin. Make changes to thin. We're making changes to the parent jollof, and here we're doing the downvote total. So parent jollof downvote total, now doing -1, like that. So now this should be working, and so we should have our numbers going up and down, so like that. All right, great. So let's try it out. So when you click on this, we have 1. You click on it again, you have 2, 3, 4, 5, like that, 6. Now for the downvote, you do a -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, just like that. Now you notice that with this, you know how many votes this person is losing or how many votes this person is adding. So to get how many votes the person actually have, you could just do 6 - 6, and then you have the total. So same thing with here, you could do the same thing and add the numbers like that. Each time you click, the number goes up. Same thing for this. Each time you click, the number goes down, like that. All right, so that is it. So this is how you can create the vote. And so we've been able to, one, set up the database. Secondly, we've been able to update the repeating group, and then we've been able to add the voting function for using a tool icon. So while what we've built so far can be great for maybe when you want to make a kind of vote whereby people can vote multiple times, as many as possible. Sometimes this is based on how much money you're able to put in. So if you add more money, your votes keep increasing. Sometimes it's important that you do 1 vote per person. So how do we keep track of the users that have that have voted and those that have not voted? That is why we have that extra field there, whereby we keep track of users that have voted. So when you come to the data types here, we have downvoters and upvoters. So this is how we'll be able to keep track of who have voted and who have not voted. So let's just come back to our app, sorry, the data here, and clear off the down total and the up total. Save it so that it goes back to 0. So same thing here, like that. So save it. By the way, you can choose to set like a default of 0 for each of these total here in the database. So when you check it out, there should be nothing for us here. All right. So let's go back and keep track of the users proper. So this is also why it was important that only those that come here are those that are logged in. All right. So let's try this again. So here, let's try the upvote. Let's do the edit workflow again. Now notice that here we are just adding numbers. Now we don't only want to add numbers, we also want to add the user. So instead of just adding the numbers like that, we'll do this, and then we want to add to the upvoters. So the upvoters will now be we want to add the current user. So what this means is we now know the user that voted up, and so if we want to vote up, we want to make sure that this user is not part of the upvoters. All right, so we'll just come here and then say this should happen only when parent jollof upvoters does not contain the current user. So what it means is this particular workflow would not happen if this person have already voted. So if this person have already voted and clicks on it, it's not going to make any change. But if this person haven't voted and clicks on this, it's going to happen. So you have the ability to vote only once. So also go back and do the same thing for the downvote. So edit this, come to make changes, and then the downvoters will now say should include the current user. Now this happens only when the parent group jollof downvoters doesn't include the current user. So if it includes the current user, that means that downvote would not work. All right. Now for some people, they could choose to rather use a plus here, so that you know that this is the total amount of upvotes, or this is total amount of downvotes. For here, I'm using a negative number, sort of. So let's do a refresh. And so here I want to try this and then try again. You notice that you can keep clicking and it will not work because this person have already voted for the Ghana Jollof. Now let's try the upvote. When you click on the upvote, notice that it adds 1. All right. So this is because this person haven't voted before. But it wouldn't be nice for you to vote in 2 places, isn't that so? So we still need a function that would make it impossible for the person to vote in both places. All right. So let's go back. We'll also go and clear off what we have in the database. So here in the Jollofs, we'll go back here and then we want to clear, and also clear here. So let's go back to here and redo our workflow again. So coming back here in our workflow, another thing we want to check for is, does the parent upvote contain at all this current user. So we are already checking if this upvote doesn't contain this person, but we also want to make sure that the other one doesn't contain it. So when we come here, we want to do an and that the parent group jollof upvotes upvoters doesn't contain this one too. So this must happen when both sides does not contain this particular person. So if one side already contain, then it's not going to work. Doesn't contain current user. So we'll do this for both icons. So come here, do edit workflow, come back here. You see, we want to also do it when the other one. So here we are doing down voters. So we want to now do up voters. So up voters doesn't contain current user. So just to confirm what we've done, parent group down voters doesn't contain, and this one too doesn't contain, right? Then here too, both sides doesn't contain. All right, so let's try this again and do a refresh. So let's try this and try it down, and it doesn't work. Why? Because we now see that this person already exists, or this person already voted, right? So let's try this again, and you see it doesn't work because this person has already voted. So let's try another user still. So let's go out. We want to log out. We want to try somebody else. Let's try this user, and let's log in. Let's save this. So let's do a downvote and try again. We'll also try to upvote. So great, this is working. Now, when we do the downvotes here, when we try again, it wouldn't work. And then when we try again here, it should not work that way. So I think we have a problem with our workflow. So let's check the condition again. So this reads parent group jollof upvoters doesn't contain current user. Good. Parent group jollof upvoters doesn't contain current user. Okay, so this should be downvoters. So you can, it's supposed to be two different things, not the same thing. So upvoters and downvoters, and let's try it here too. So this is downvoters and then upvoters. So let's go back to our database and clear off everything again. Just clear this off. Let's do it again so that it works properly. So let's save that. And then let's get rid of all of these downvoters, upvoters, get rid of these two, and then let's save it. And let's go back, do a refresh. So let's try it again. So you do this, shouldn't be able to do it again. All right, so this wouldn't work, this would work, this wouldn't work. All right, so let's try another email. So on the email, let's go try this one. All right, so this should work, and when we try here, it shouldn't work. So this should work too, and when we try here, it shouldn't work. So this means it is working, right? So everything is working as we planned. But then again, we have another thing that needs under consideration. Now, it doesn't make sense that one person is doing both. That is, one person is doing an upvote and doing a downvote. Isn't that so? So we want to make sure that the same person can't vote for the same thing both up and down. So for example, if a user votes up, it shouldn't vote down. So we want to make sure that that is very, very clear. So with that, we now understand how this works, but we can try it with one more user. So let's see if we can get one more user. So let's try 20. Let's try gmail.com. Right, so password, we do the password. I'm not sure if I already have this person, but let's try. All right, so great. So I don't have this user yet. So let's try it. So downvote, can't vote the up one. So you voted down, can't vote the up one. So you vote the up one, you can't vote the down one, like that. So it's just like that, and it is working perfectly as it should be. So being able to check off this other one. So we're able to keep track of users who voted, and even those that whether voted up or down, we were able to keep track of them. And the last thing is being able to vote with one icon. So sometimes there is really no need for two icons. What we just need is a total vote for one person. So for example, here now, if you want to get the total vote for one person, you would need to do maybe a 1 minus 2. That'll be giving you like a -1. So which means that these people really lost votes, stuff like that. So instead of doing that, we can just use one vote and fix up everything. So let's do a little bit of work in our design here. We want to merge this into one. So for us to do that, let's get rid of one, or we could just hide it instead of. Let's just create one more. So do a copy and paste like that, and this last one will just make change to the icon. So one thumb up and down like that, and let's keep it at a bit of a neutral color. So maybe green should be fine. And then for these two, we could just hide them. So we'll make it invisible. These two will make it invisible like that. So invisible like that, and then invisible like that. So we'll just keep track of just this one. All right. Then in our database here, we want to do a bit of a change. Well, more or less like an update. So we now want to use one field to check total votes and one field to check voters. So we'll just come here and let's add voters. So this will check for all those that vote. So users, make it a list, create, and then total votes like that, number, create like that. Now it's important to note that you can actually use the voters count to do this stuff. So these are just different way of doing things. So let's come back here. We already hit this. All right, so let's focus on this. So click on this. All right, so click on this, and so let's add a workflow. And here in the workflow, we want to make changes to thing, and what we're changing is a parent jollof. So here what we want to do is to for the total votes, we want to make it parent jollof total votes +1, and then for the voters, we want the voters to now increase by the current user. Now it's important for us to keep a condition for this, so that this only happens when this user is not inside of this voters list. So let's come back here at the first level and then say that this should only happen when parent group jollof voters does not contain this particular user. Great. Now we have now done this for when you want to upvote somebody. How about when you want to downvote the person? So just copy this same workflow. So we'll copy the workflow, and of course we'll paste it so that I'll have it double. Now for this one, the condition will now change to when this person already exists. So when parent jollof voters contains this user, which means this user have already voted and has been counted. So when a person upvotes, we count the person in, and when the person downvotes, we remove the person. So if this person has already voted, that means he has upvoted before. We want to come down here and do a minus. So do a minus, please. We'll do a minus here. So -1, and then we remove that user like that. So let's go back and do a refresh here. So let's do a refresh. And so let's click on this and it increases to 1. When we click on it again, it reduces to 0, which means that this person voted and unvoted this person. So we can do the same for this and do the same just like that. Something like this. So you see, and like that. So double vote. All right. And we can try another user here. So let's use this user. So let's upvote. Great. If you click again, it should -1. So like that, like this. So that is it. And this is how you can make vote using just one icon. And most places, one icon is usually the preferred option. Some places use two, and each of them is fine. So whatever you use is fine for you and fine for me too. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.